G'day warbanders, and welcome back to another video where I'm dissecting this game called Chronicles Medieval, an upcoming Mountain Blade like set for release in 2026 hopefully. And this is a very interesting game that's come up in my feed that I want to tell you guys about. So Chronicles Medieval lets you step into a vast dynamic medieval sandbox. So automatically I'm going like, this is a Mountain Blade like, okay? Create your character, forge your path from rags to riches, engage in intense combat, fight for land, glory, and legacy, and lead massive armies into epic large-scale battles. So does this mean that we're going to also get some Crusader Kings elements? I'm hoping we do. But it seems like it's going for that sort of Mountain Blade feel where you're in the field with your men as a commander, which is what I like. I think Mountain Blade's one of the best games in the world, and it's great seeing another game looking to take the spotlight. Because, you know, Bannerlord, you know, it's been a bit lacking, even though the DLC is coming out, war sales. You know, it's nice to see some other games, you know, taking the mantle up and creating a medieval sandbox. But also, this is going to be a historical game, it seems like, with the French and the English, it seems, in the background there. Of course, it doesn't look like that, doesn't look that historically accurate. Like, that armor looks a bit ahistorical, some pieces of armor from different periods. You know, it looks like it's going for fun and not historical accuracy. And I'm just going to just dissect this video they got here talking about the game, and we'll just take a look at it. The trailer is not that interesting. It's just like cutscenes. It's just, there's no gameplay in it, but they show gameplay in this video. We'll take a look. It has amazing graphics, but I'm pretty sure those are pre-rendered cutscenes. We're not interested in the cutscenes, bro. Again, I don't like that they're using pitchforks, because if you look at medieval art, okay, there's no pitchforks. Like, I don't see any pitchforks in this traditional medieval art. Like, this is made by, you know, priests and, you know, people back in the day. So this is contemporary art, and you can see there's no pitchforks. Why there's no pitchforks? Because pitchforks are farming implements. They're not meant for men-at-arms and knights. And in this sort of video, they're showing men-at-arms with pitchforks. It's kind of weird. So I could see definitely the historical accuracy is a bit lacking. But I'm still interested in the game. Chronicles Medieval, the new Mountain Blade successor. Hopefully.
History books are cool, but what if you...
Yes, they are. I have a huge bookshelf with history books.
Just following a script, actually forge your own medieval chronicle. At Raw Power Games, we're not just...
Yeah, the whole point of historical games is that you play up your own narrative. There's no point in following a linear set of events. That's where people they lament about historical accuracy, but really the point of the game is to create your own history or create your own alternative history. That's what every historical game is. It's a foray into, you know, alternative history ultimately. Okay, we can see some gameplay there. Looks a little bit, yeah, it's Mountain Blade, bro. They literally copied Mountain Blade with that horses and like the infantry. So it's a bit small scale, obviously, it seems like.
We're creating something deeper.
Okay, they got some 3D models in, is that Blender? I think it is.
Something unpredictable and most importantly, yours. In this video,
and this is where they're creating the cutscenes.
We're cooking. From systems to swords, castles to communities.
Let us build castles, bro. Bannerlord, when they were in the dev diaries, they promised castles and we didn't get them. Like, you know, physical customizable castles, and we didn't get that in Bannerlord. So maybe we get this in this game, please.
This is Chronicles Medieval.
So a living medieval sandbox. So this implies that the whole world's going to be dynamic, which is great. I hate linear games. I hate static worlds. I really hate that stuff, and I hope this is true what they're saying here.
When I think about the tone of the game, of course, we wanted to highlight brutal and rough nature of medieval life and warfare, but we...
Just a one nitpick. It's cool. Like the armies look cool sitting in the rain, but you know, armies wouldn't fight when it's raining, because when you think about it, when it's raining, it gets muddy. The ground becomes very mushy and all that, and it's not good to fight in, because you know your knights, they're not going to do well. Just look at Agincourt, for example. The French knights, they charged across, you know, muddy ground when it rained previously, and it just wasn't good. It turned out really bad for them. Not just for the longbowmen, that was a factor, but also the weather played a role in making the mud really, you know, deadly for the knights. So armies really wouldn't fight in, you know, this, like, unless they were forced to, like in the rain. Now look at Waterloo, for example. They didn't fight in the rain, did they? Napoleon didn't. He just didn't want to fight in the rain. And just, oh, it's raining, we can't move our artillery and all that. So, you know, armies, it looks cool in the screenshots and all that with the rain, but, you know, armies wouldn't do that.
We also wanted to not shy away from the visual variety involved.
Yeah, please do not show the medieval age as, you know, a dark place, you know, dark ages, you know, no color, you know, that's a very big myth. Okay, that medieval people, they wore all different types of colors, as they could see in this concept art. You can see it in the medieval art. Okay, there's so much color in this artwork, so much color, so many different colors, banners. You know, there's no point in showing this as brown. Okay, there's no point. Look at all these beautiful, you know, coat of arms and heraldry. It's just amazing. Please do not go for that muddy aesthetic that we see a lot in video games.
In the world, so a variety of colors and
looks a bit like Kingdom Come Deliverance, bro.
Styles, quite a vivid world that these people inhabited. Modern media tends to kind of fixate a lot on the dull and grey.
Exactly. It's horrible.
Kind of aspects, but
this is why I love Kingdom Come Deliverance, because it goes completely against that.
I think medieval life was actually quite colourful.
We would like to create a world that can spark curiosity. So we decided to add enigmatic layers on the settlement, which hopefully can intrigue the players.
I'm hoping that we can build our own village, maybe. I know I'm asking for things that are probably like out of the scope, but whatever. I just think it's cool. You can probably control these villages,
and
hopefully, like Mount Blade.
To explore the whole world. Chronicle Medieval is kind of like my dream project. I feel super lucky to be able to work with a team who is so talented and experienced, and also love medieval history and games like.
Yeah, the graphics are looking good. If this is actual in-game graphics, then this is pretty good. Is it in the Unreal Engine? I don't know.
Like me, I am sure that.
Where's the people, dude?
When the game is finally finished, I myself will spend hundreds.
Killed by the plague.
Hours playing that.
A great deal of research went into Chronicles Medieval, and I really...
Yeah, you say that, but then you give your soldiers random pitchforks. I don't know why you did that.
think what put together the...
It's like, oh, warband players, they're peasants, bro. No, they're not. They're wearing full plate armor. Like, they're men at arms. They're minor noblemen or, like, you know, wealthy peasants, you know. Not everyone... Like, it's just a common trope to, you know, give to a medieval soldier like a pitchfork, you know. It's like, please don't do that.
Believability of the history was all of the kind of little nuances of characters.
Is that leather armor? No, it's a brigandine. It must be a brigandine. But it looks a bit like leather armor. I don't like... But no, they got... Nah, it's a brigandine. That's a brigandine.
So how armor is forged, how it's put together.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
For clothing and fashion, it would be...
Oh, I love those dresses. Hot.
How things are hemmed and kind of seamed.
Okay, we got some greaves. Very nice.
Or the concept team put a lot of research into...
I wonder if that was a thing, that gauntlet there. I've never seen a gauntlet like that with like little pieces of metal on it.
To fashion and how that evolved over the time period we're focusing on. One of the most exciting...
Where's the tabards? I want to see some tabards.
Parts was kind of seeing our characters come to life so that then they can start killing you.
So those pitchforks, bro.
Sure.
I'm just so fixated on those pitchforks. Like, why? What? You did everything else okay, then you give them pitchforks. I'm like, what the fuck? You know.
to make
You see
the
that
combat
artwork
feel
in the background.
authentic is challenging, but
Yeah, that's the problem with historical games. You got to find a balance between historical accuracy and actual gameplay. Because obviously, if you're doing 100% historical accuracy in every area, it's going to be boring. But there's also a fine line. You can't make stuff up. So here they're not making a fantasy world like Mount & Blade. They actually have historical, things to do with the England and France. So I hope they sort of capture that. And hopefully they get rid of those pitchforks.
we have sources, and when we understand the concepts behind all the historical martial arts, then we can have
So does this mean that they're actually using historical stances and historical martial arts? Like, I'm hoping that that's the case. You're not just like wildly flail around your weapon like a Hmong, please.
at least a really nice and historical accurate visuality.
Imagination has been my best friend as a combat designer. But here, that's not the case. We have to think about, is it believable? And if it's a yes, we have a solid answer. If it's a no, another round of iterations. Realism doesn't mean it's not fun.
Yeah, I think you can make games where realism can be a fun factor. Just don't overdo it. Just don't overdo it and you're fine. Because realism is very important to a historical game within reason. Because if you don't have any realism in a historical game, it's like, why are you even making a historical game in the first place? It's sort of broken logic. So, if you want to make fantasy crap, that's not, realistic, go make a fantasy game. This apparently they're making a historical game, and I want to see that.
While realism is really important for a game, we're not making a simulator, for sure. That
Okay, good.
means that we do get the freedom to design, let's say, artificial systems to make it even better. We heavily rely on Bjorn's mocapping to add realism.
Oh, a Z Hunter. Yeah, love motion cap. They're using that instead of just animating by hand. Motion cap is way superior.
And everything is nice and enjoyable for the player. Also,
Because with the combat animations, you have to make it like a bit more exaggerated. Because otherwise it's not going to work. Because, the player has to see what they're swinging. I'm hoping it's directional combat. I'm hoping that it's not just left click, right click, block. I'm hoping it's not like that.
so plausible enough for all the historians.
Yeah, plausible. Keyword. I've never seen that type of headdress on a helmet. It's very interesting.
What we're aiming for is to make you feel the brutality.
Oh, straight through the visor. Now that's what I want to see. That's historically accurate right there. Going through the visor. If I see any, chops at armor where they just kill somebody, with armor, it's like, they slash the breastplate and they kill him. That's not real.
Urgency and the weight of your decisions. It's a game about killing someone, right? Any combat
Very blunt there, but yes, that's very true.
situation, whether you are in a
We love killing each other, bro. As humans, we love it. But no, I think there's a lizard brain thing with that. It's like we still have that sort of mechanic, sort of brain mechanic for that.
battlefield or in a duel, you're trying to kill someone or disable someone.
Look at that long pole arm,
Right now.
mace.
So
I've never seen anything like that. Tell me in the comments, have you seen something like that? Like a long pole arm with a mace on top, like a little mace head?
we want you to remember that you are not a hero here. You don't have
Exactly. Mount & Blade has been built on the foundation that you are not a god. Okay, you will fall in battle. And I wish that Mount & Blade has some permadeath mechanics, where you get killed in battle, because it'll incentivize you to sit at the back of your lines like real commanders did. Because if you didn't sit behind your lines and command the troops, it's like, you're just going to get killed in the battle. There's multiple battles, especially decisive battles like Bosworth, for example, where the king just dies in battle and it just all falls apart, So I hope this game captures that sort of feeling, where if you go into the fray on your horse right here and you get sniped by an arrow, your game's over. And I'm hoping that they have some Crusader Kings elements where your heir can take over. So they say it's a character-based game, so I'm hoping that's the case, but we'll see what happens.
magical abilities that can slaughter multiple people and just change the tide of battle.
I find that very boring. Magical abilities, please get out. We already have like a million games that do that. Where you have magical abilities that kill, mobs of enemies around you, and that's not really interesting to me.
You are a human being, and you are fighting against another human being who's trying to kill you, and you are trying to survive and kill the opponent or multiple opponents around you.
Exactly.
So it all boils.
Whoa, Whoa, that was very. What happened there, bro? He just like fucking killed everyone there.
So it all.
Well, he must be like a skilled fighter, dude. Like, that's a bit too fantasy-like for me. Like they're all just run at you like mobs. Like, I don't know.
Boils down to making the right choice.
You say that you're fighting another human, but then you throw this dude that just like kills 3 people in one swipe. It's like, oh, I don't know.
Choices in a short amount of time. To every single choice you make could either reward you or punish you.
Do you have the right armor with you, the right weapons? So all the decisions you make,
Yeah,
the preparation.
I'm hoping that that's a big factor in the game, which weapon you choose. The maces, that Warhammer right there is the medieval wonder weapon. It's just the versatility of that weapon is just amazing, and that should be the best weapon in the game. Like historically, that should be the best weapon. The Warhammer.
And also within the battle.
Especially the one where you can stab with it as well. That's why it's used in late Middle Ages, those Warhammers. They're just insane.
Duel also, everything counts. Every single attack, every single block will keep you alive or will kill you.
Bro, this doesn't look like gameplay, bro. Like, I'd be surprised if this was gameplay. It looks very like a trailer. They say that they want the medieval world colorful, and then they show this. It's very dark and grimy, bro. Like, please choose one vision, okay? I get maybe it's a rainy day. Okay. Maybe there's a plague going on. I don't know, man. It's just a bit. You say one thing and then, you do another. It's like, I don't know.
If you were to ask me what I like the most about being an engineer working on Chronicles Medieval, it would be that we very early on made a decision to make all the systems that make up the gameplay.
Okay, we can see some cavalry combat there. That's very nice. It looks pretty good so far. You got rearing, you got target lock, you got strafing, you got a slingshot so you can shoot something. And also there's a battle going on the left there, you can see on his laptop there. So a lot of soldiers are in that screen there, so I'm assuming that the battles can get quite large.
And the decision-making systems be part of one whole framework. Today that allows us to be very reasonable about how we approach performance issues.
Look at the guy at the back of the T-posing in the gatehouse, dude.
But also how we approach
just like random T-posing people, bro.
Gameplay's interconnectivity. Because the gameplay interconnectivity is really what drives the game and makes it very dynamic for players when they play it.
Chronicles Medieval is a hugely ambitious game. There's a lot.
Yeah, it looks like it. But I want to see more gameplay. Like, where's the gameplay? Like, where's the character stuff you're talking about? I'm seeing a lot of screen, like, 3D camera looking around, scenes and all that. But I want to see a bit more gameplay.
A lot of stuff that the player can interact with. Big character.
Okay, cool. They got a medieval coif. I want to see it a bit up more though, like the bottom bit, because if I go look at medieval art, they have it like. If try and find a coif, so you can see that like it goes over their chin. See that? Some of it goes over their chin, and you can see that it's not going over his chin. So it's a very minor nitpick, but please fix that. Okay, the coif goes on your chin, bro. And sometimes it goes over your entire face.
Gallery of NPCs.
Almost, like except your eyes,
Our battles are truly grand. So we put the battles into 3 layers.
Ooh, so we have a command chain. Great stuff. So we actually have some sort of command and control, which a lot of games, a lot of tactical games, a lot of strategic games, they don't really model. So this is great. And you also have some sub-commanders. So, okay, this tells me a lot of good things here where we can actually have some historical accuracy here where battles aren't, instantaneous and, real-time strategy. They actually, you know, it feels more historic accurate this way. So I'm happy to see this, a command chain.
Combat layer, fighting one-on-one. Captain layer, where you command units in your immediate vicinity.
Wait, what do you say,
Command
Captain?
Combat layer, put the battles into 3 layers. Combat layer, fighting one-on-one.
Combat layer, fighting one-on-one.
Captain layer, where you command units in your immediate vicinity. Kind of the
Oh, okay. So is he like talking about like one-on-one combat like in a city? Like, you know, you're fighting like, you know, on that more smaller scale sometimes, and then you go to the larger scale where you're fighting battles. So he's sort of implying that we can sort of fight little duels and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure.
Braveheart fantasy that we're trying to get to here.
Braveheart fantasy? Oh no, dude! You don't want to base your game on Braveheart? What are you talking about? Oh, bro, please, dude, don't base your game on Braveheart. Why are you doing that?
And then we
Everyone knows that's an inaccurate movie.
have the tactical layer. We call it the general's layer, something that the player will engage with.
So he's implying that there's some grand strategy elements where you're moving troops on a map or something like that. I'm hoping it's like that. So that sort of tells me it's going to be like Mount Blade, but there's also going to be some grand strategy, like Paradox.
During the pre-battle planning phase. In Chronicles, we really
Oh, here we go. We got some gameplay finally. We got some lines of infantry. We also got a cast in the background. Does that mean we're going to have some sieges?
want the player to be able to express himself.
Nice. I like the banners. That's very nice.
And do whatever they feel like.
If you want to
Very
be
nice.
someone, if you want to chase something, you could. And we want to, as developers, give you the opportunity to do so. So after you create the character that you want to play as, you're being welcomed into an exploration map that covers
So that's the overworld right there. You can see that there's caravans, there's a troop person there. So this is how the overworld's going to look like. And it's going to be like Mount Blade, basically. Those farms, though, look a bit weird. I don't know.
that covers a big part of medieval Europe, where you are welcome to freely roam and do essentially what you want. You can go and visit settlements. You can go and
Great. Sounds like Mount Blade, which is what I want.
visit castles. You can attack caravans. You can chase bandits. You can
What I love in Mount Blade is you can do anything you want. So you can be a bandit. You can basically just kill peasants if you want. Make your coin that way. I've never done that because it's very poor money making, but you can do that. But yeah, I hope they open up those options there.
perform quests. You can also
Let me marry princesses, bro, like in Mount Blade. Let me do that. If you don't have that in the game, I'm not interested.
hire companions and have some adventures with them. You can participate in small
Companions, so that's confirmed. We have some companions. Again, everything's like Mount Blade.
or big battles.
Just say you're inspired by Mount Blade and you'll have an easier time.
We
Explain
take you
the
from
game.
the top-down view of exploration map and throw you in
Okay, that looks like a in-game screenshot there. Looks pretty good. Yeah.
to
That's all I have to
TPP
say.
where you can feel and see your character and
Bro, but we'll be able to siege castles. It's probably just a background asset. You know, you can't siege it. It's just a background thing. I'm hoping we can.
actually be a participant of all the events that are there.
Oh, okay, so they're selling out. Wow, if this is real gameplay, that must be.
So it
Let me
also
just look
feels
closer. Bro, it must be pre-rendered or something like that in the background there. There's no way the battles get that large. If they do, I'm impressed.
there. So it also feels more immersive, and you can see and experience the amazing world that our artists also built. The part of you being there is an important pillar of what we try to achieve.
Less management, more immersion.
There are multiple
Yeah, more immersion, please.
different systems that allow players to shape their journey and to
But what do you mean by like more immersion management? Like this whole strategy genre is about management, so I don't know what that statement is meaning, but okay.
also shape the world around them. We also have the entire
Okay, good graphics. Good graphics. I want to see more gameplay. Until I, make a final
economy that
judgment,
basically runs underneath the hood and drives all of the economic and trade situation.
Okay, so there's some economy mechanics confirmed. So it's some trading happening. Hopefully it's a bit more complicated than Mountain Blade Warband. Hoping. So far it's looking like the Battle Brothers sort of overworld, which I like.
But you as a player can also influence. We are really trying to experiment with these systems to create more of a dynamic and real world.
Yeah, I love dynamic games. I hate static worlds. As I said before, static worlds are boring. Everything has to be moving parts. Everything has to be dynamic. So hopefully they deliver on their promise here.
Chronicles Medieval is a game full of opportunities, and we can't wait to see what you'll do with it. History has already been written, but this time you're holding the pen. Wishlist Chronicles Medieval now on Steam. Sign up for our new...
Yeah, I'm interested. I'm cautiously optimistic. Okay, I just haven't seen enough gameplay. The other YouTubers going, oh shit, this is a Mountain Blade killer. I'm like, oh, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Let's have a look at the screenshots. Is there anything new? Okay, just more. Everything's just from the trailer, bro. It's like, oh. So yeah, large scale. The main features are large scale battles. So recruit, train, lead troops into epic battles, command historical units like the English longbowmen and devastating French cavalry. So is there only going to be 2 factions? I hope not. It'd be very boring if there was only 2 factions. England and France. You got the Holy Roman Empire. I don't even know which period this is set in. It's probably late medieval. So the Holy Roman Empire, Italy. I'm hoping that it's not just 2 factions. It looks like he's been crowned king. I'm hoping there's marriages. I'm hoping, there's Crusader King's 3 elements. So shape your legacy, medieval sandbox, every decision matters, choose your power. Okay. So very like marketing speak, But yeah, guys, that's my video dissecting Chronicles. I'm cautiously optimistic. I've seen a lot of games promise the heavens like this, and it's like it doesn't come through. And 2026, that's a pretty far away. We're already halfway into the year, so that's about probably 12 months away, this game. But yeah, if what they're saying is true, I'm excited for it then. Just remove those pitchforks and I'm more happy. But yeah, guys, if you liked the video, you like these dissections, please like and subscribe. I'm the Mountain Blade YouTuber, bro. I've been playing Mountain Blade for about 10 years probably at this point. And I'm just happy to see more Mountain Blade games. And yeah, guys, I'll see you later. Bye.